Welcome back to the Postpartum Plan podcast. This podcast is designed to support and empower you through postpartum. Whether you're expecting, in the early postpartum days, or beyond, this space is for you. I'm your host, Madison Fugere, a dedicated postpartum doula and pediatric sleep consultant, striving to help parents feel confident and supported in their parenting journey. Each week, I'm sharing practical tips and expert advice to help you navigate all the postpartum things with confidence. Well, as much confidence as you can. Let's embark on this journey together, making your parenthood as serene and supportive as possible. Jen is a certified doctor of physical therapy with advanced training and certification in pelvic floor rehabilitation and obstetric physical therapy. With over 12 years of being a physical therapist, Jen has used her passion for pelvic floor therapy to fit perfectly with helping pregnant and postpartum pelvic floor dysfunctioning clients. She has taken extensive postgraduate education to enhance her knowledge and is a pregnancy and postpartum corrective exercise specialist too. In 2021, Jen founded Bloom Pelvic Health and Wellness in Chelmsford, Massachusetts, to help as many people as possible to spread education about pelvic issues in order to decrease stigma and to encourage people to speak up and seek help for helping your pelvic-related issues. She offers a safe and holistic way to achieve a healthy pelvic floor and core. Woo, that was a mouthful. Hi, Jen.
Yes.
Welcome. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you, Madison. Same as well. I'm very excited. I'm glad we are doing this, to spread more awareness.
Yeah, I am. I'm super excited. I feel like I talk about pelvic health now a bit more than obviously I did before, but a lot of the words in your intro I don't typically use, so I keep tripping up. But I'm sure for you, it's like total second nature. But yeah, so I'm excited to have you here today and kind of talk about the services and like the support that you provide as a pelvic floor therapist, because I think that some people are aware of what that is, but a lot of people have no idea really that it exists or that it's an option or, what's normal when it comes to pelvic floor stuff.
Yes.
So I'd love to kind of kick off here if you would be willing to kind of share a bit about like your story and how you got into like pelvic floor therapy in particular and all of that. I think that'd be a great place to start.
Yes, absolutely. So first of all, I'm a mom. I'm a mom of Irish twins. I have a daughter who's 2.5, and I have a son who's 15 months. And Bloom Pelvic Health and Wellness is my third baby. That's how I treat my clinic, So I had my own issues as well, and going through my pregnancy, and I had some tough time. And afterwards, I had some pelvic issues, and I went through a pelvic rehab, and that's where I thought that the care is needed, and there's not much help around available. So my mission statement is just to try to spread as much as awareness I can, and then that's how I went into pelvic schools. Try to do a lot of I would say more niche work, just working for pregnancy and postpartum clients. I do a lot of virtual training for education for prenatal, just to get prep with birth prep session, because I feel that really helps. With my first, I did have a 3.5-degree tear, and then that made me realize, oh gosh, when I was pregnant with my second one, I really wanted help so that my rehab would be quicker and faster. That's where I actually went to took obstetric courses, and I was 5 months pregnant at that time with my second one, and that's where I started my journey, mostly digging in, and I tried and tested on myself during labor, and that's okay, this is working perfect, all of that. And that's what I'm doing right now.
That's so awesome. I love it. And I feel like anybody, when they start like working in a profession that they were like, driven to do because of like their own life experiences, like you could totally relate to your clients, which is so amazing.
Yes.
And I love that. And yeah. Like you could trial your own stuff while you were going through it because you were pregnant. Like how cool.
Yes, that what me realize. Okay, the things are working, so we need to, be pushing it more, and that's why prenatal education is such important. Even if you're planning to have a C-section, still it's such an important thing to know. It's also post rehab. All of that needs to be, um, uh, the word needs to be spread for that.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that honestly kind of pulls me right into kind of my first question here, which was obviously I'm so excited to have you here and like to have you chatting about all of this because I think that there's so much to it that people, like I said earlier, they don't know what's normal. And so, like you said, preparing prenatally can be amazing. So, I mean, is there like things that you hear that people, are saying that they often don't come to you because they don't know what's like quote unquote normal? Like, what are the things that you're typically having people come in for, and what, should people look for, kind of a thing, and should they know that they need to go to a pelvic floor therapist and work on their pelvic health?
You hear that after having kids, leaking is pretty normal. So you leak here and there, and you'll have some other symptoms, but that's really common, but it's not normal. So that's what I usually pelvic floor therapists help you with. Leaking, any prolapse symptoms. If you had C-section, then we work on your scar, and we look at your posture. We do a posture assessment, and what we look at your goals. If your goals are to go back to running, we help you go back to that. Or if your goal is to just normalize or just be have strength back, that's what we help with. That's what our
Yeah.
postpartum rehab recovery looks like.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, like, just like you said, people feeling like, oh my gosh, when you sneeze, you pee, or like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, every time I cough, and like that's something that so many people like exactly say, oh my gosh, that happens to everybody. Like I can't jump now without peeing. And like they say it like it's so normal because like so many people have said it's normal and so many people feel it, but that doesn't mean that that's the way it should be. And that's exactly
Absolutely.
like why I was excited to have you on, is because there are so many things like
There's
that.
so much rehab available, and that's what the pelvic floor PTs community and our gurus are trying to spread that awareness through social media. And people are actually now reaching out and seeking help, and they are openly talking about these intimate issues, and how would like sexual intercourse feel like the first time after having a baby and all of that. So that also, these topics are more being talked about now, the taboo topics, and pelvic floor PT can help you guys with that.
Yeah. And that's something I know prior to all my podcast episodes for the listeners, I will write up a couple questions and things for us to kind of keep us on track, because otherwise I totally go on tangents. But that wasn't even something I wrote a question about, but it's totally true. Like the idea of sexual intercourse postpartum and trying to figure all of that out. And that's something that, people are always like, oh, like, we go to the 6-week appointment and that's what everyone
Yeah,
tells you
exactly.
about, right? And I've had
Yes,
clients that are
yes.
like, oh, I want nothing to do with it at that point, and like, all of those things. So yeah, having somebody that you can talk to about it, about, okay, is this more of a mental issue or is there something physically that's causing me pain and uncomfortableness? And kind of working through that is so huge and so amazing to, yeah,
Yeah,
like you said, exactly. Spread the awareness, right?
right. Absolutely.
So, with all of that being said, then, for people who are listening that have not heard of pelvic therapy or have never been, what can you like walk us through what I guess an initial like consultation would look like, but also what would an appointment look like? I know that there can be internal and external work that is done with different types of pelvic floor therapy. So, could you kind of tell us what it would look like if they were to kind of come into your clinic or work with you?
Yes, in general, I treat a variety, starting from teenage to, people having menopause, everything. So first appointment is initial appointment. We would take your consent, and if we need to do an internal assessment to check your pelvic floor, if you are having any tightness or if you're having any weakness, and what things are going on, to check whether if you're having a prolapse. It'd be like a small kind of a OBGYN quick exam just to make sure, and then we'll follow up with like strength training if you need that. So now talking about Kegels, because people are, oh, we just do Kegels for strength training. That's not the case here.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you have pelvic floor tightness or pain going on, or pain with any sexual intercourse and stuff like that, then we really need to do an opposite. Those are reverse Kegel or breathing exercises, stretching and stuff like that. I see variety of clients. I see vaginismus, so for that, the pelvic floor has been extremely tight. We get some muscle spasm with that. So we work with dilators for them. More of an internal treatment is necessary. So give dilator therapy. They can work at home. We do pelvic wands. They can do at home. Most of the pro labs is opposite. We try to do like a lot of strength training, a lot of breathing exercise, core stabilization, posture management. Especially for my folks with postpartum clients, we do a lot of posture because they're pumping or breastfeeding or just lifting the baby. The posture is
Mm-hmm.
very important. Breathing with them, and breathing exercise because it's a key for pelvic floor rehab. Overall strength training, we would just keep on doing it. So our visits would start like once a week for like few weeks, and then maybe we'll take once every 2 weeks, and then follow-ups maybe once in every 3 months until they try to achieve their short-term and long-term goals.
Yeah, no, that's awesome for sure. So if somebody were to come into you postpartum, are you typically, like you said, you're working with them pretty frequently and then elongating your space time and time
Yes.
with them? Um,
Yes.
Are they going to be working mostly in the office with you? Are they taking most of the things that they're supposed to be doing and doing them at home? Or is it kind of a mix of
Mostly,
both?
I usually say pelvic floor rehab does involve a lot of home exercises, so I try to do once a week and then give you a few exercises, 10 minutes in a day, just try to spend that time, especially with the baby on the mat and stuff like that, some while you getting out of the bed or getting into the beds, most of the exercise can be done in a hook line position, which is breathing, all of that. And yes, and then we elongate, and they see me every twice, once in 2 weeks, and then maybe once in a month, and then once in 3 months. Um, Depends upon what kind of birth you had also impacts our session.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the pain is involved, and if you had a really need more session, then we also do once in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I do work with a lot of C-section moms as well. So we do scar management, scar desensitizing tissue therapies, all of that. And then just work throughout. And then I have a bunch of support. I try to give them with lactation if they need lactation. And then, sleep consultant and,
Yeah.
postpartum doula. And just try to, a few minutes in my session is even talking through and making them aware about postpartum blues or postpartum hemorrhage, just to try, when they come, they have that 1 hour of freedom, would just for themselves or not having the baby
Right.
with them. Do some of them do bring a baby sometimes, and most of the time they're sleeping. So I do have initially, because if they don't have any caretaker available, they do bring baby in the clinic as well.
Yeah.
Most of my session are in the clinics, and a little bit of virtual if needed, but most is hands-on. That's what I try to do at Bloom. We do a lot of hands-on work and then give you home exercise to follow up with. I'm always available through emails, and we do have a text message system, so they can also contact if they need it and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's amazing because it's continual support, especially because you're seeing people like so early on in postpartum. Like,
Yes,
how
yes.
early are people coming to you? Are they coming to you like the moments they get out of the hospital, or is it more like you suggest waiting a
I'm
couple
starting to
weeks?
seeing 4 to 6 weeks, and then mostly postpartum 7 weeks is where I start getting a lot of referrals.
Uh-huh.
First few weeks they are just adjusting with the new baby, the whole new environment, their body and stuff like that, so it gets a little bit tricky for them to leave the house
Right.
and come. So mostly like after the 6 week appointment, the GYN visit, after that OBGYN visit, they if they have any prolapse, or if they are leaking, or if they're not healing well, if the scar, or they're having diabetes recti. I see a lot of clients with DR. So they come to me at like 6.5 to 7 weeks.
That makes a lot of sense. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, if people are listening and whether they are super far out from postpartum or they're brand new postpartum, you kind of mentioned it, but like Kegels is the only thing that people talk about, I feel like, right? So is there anything that you can suggest to people that if they're like having some struggles postpartum and they can't make it in right now, or, they're not nearby, so they can't come to see you, are there things that they can be doing at home to kind of help to like with their pelvic health besides these Kegels that everybody mentions?
Yes, yes. First of all, they need to be assessed, whether if the pelvic floor is tight or if the pelvic floor is weaker. Then only you can start doing a exercise program. We can make an exercise program for you. So I would really suggest to get an appointment to a pelvic floor PT nearby, and just get yourself assessed, and then, start the program with that. If you have, people have been searching nowadays, and that's what my clients do. Look, Jen, my pelvic floor is too tight. Should I be doing dilator? Should I be doing pelvic one? And then, "Oh, let me check." And then when we start checking, no, you are very weak and you're having a prolapse, kind of
Oh my
that's
gosh.
what's happening. So we cannot just randomly say that this exercise would be great for you.
Right.
But the great start would be breathing exercise, some mindfulness, trying to, do some core stabilization work, breath work, all of that. I tend to send my clients to do a lot of yoga, because yoga is a great way to start with. That mind body connection is needed for your pelvic floor. So yes, and once you get assessed, then you can go on doing more strength work, and specific things need to be done if you are really having a tight pelvic floor. More stretching, more kind of relaxation work. Put some meditation music on and try doing more of that.
Yeah. No, that's
There's
awesome
not like a
advice.
certain exercise can fix you, because it's the whole body, whole posture, everything involves
Yeah, and it's
with the
definitely
pelvic floor.
sounds like it's individualized. So finding somebody that can help you figure out what works for you is
Yes,
going to be best.
yes, yes,
That's
absolutely.
awesome. So, I mean, to wrap us up today, is there any bits of like advice or information about you or Bloom Pelvic Health that you wanted to share with listeners as we wrap up here?
Yes. So would like to tell our new moms that, taking care of yourself is really, really important, and seeking help, because as they say, it takes a village to raise a kid. That it is. So accepting help and take care of yourself is very important, because we are so much involved. Everybody's talking about, do this to the babies, to them, and all of that. So you're just focusing on the baby. But what at Bloom, or what pelvic floor PT postpartum rehab does, is to focus on the mom as mom
Yes.
rehab as well. And do not ever compare yourself to another mom, because it's every woman has a different journey, every mom has a different journey, every mom has a different struggle. So not comparing at all. I have 2 kids, and both of my kids are opposite, so that's how it is. So never comparing
It's
to,
so true.
yeah, it is true. So it's just, that's what I tell my clients as well. So just, do what you can, and you're doing your best. That's and try to take care of yourself, health wise, having hydration, eating, balanced diet, and taking care of yourself, giving some 10 minutes of me time. It's hard to find that time, but just trying to, seeking help from your family, friends, neighbors, initially starting to accept help is, we need to remove that stigma that I don't know, I'll be fine, all of that. So just
I totally
that,
agree.
Yeah.
I could not agree more. Yes, that's an awesome way to end it because it's so true. If anybody is interested in chatting with Jen or interested about Bloom Pelvic Health some more, feel free to check out the notes below. I'm going to throw some information down there so you can reach out to her. But thank you so much, Jen, for joining me today and chatting all about pelvic floor health and all the things that everybody needs to
Thank
know.
you. Thank you for having me. And we forgot to mention that we also work together in
We
body, birth,
do.
and baby class, the
We
prenatal
do.
education class. So that's where we try to spread awareness and get you ready for the upcoming
Yes,
babies.
exactly. If you have
Yes,
listened
yes.
to episode 6 with Nicole Rodriguez, it's called From a Perfect Birth to a Code Blue. She chats all about the Nest birth partners, and her and the lovely Jen here today have a course that we are offering, and it is an amazing prenatal course
And
with
we are
all the
recently
information.
also launching the cafe. So if
Oh,
you guys
yes.
are around in Chelmsford, we are having a expert speaker coming in every month and sharing their tips postpartum, pregnancy related. And we are having also medicine coming in soon. So,
Yes, in a couple
you
months.
know,
Yeah, so you could definitely check out any of our social medias. I share those on my story as well. So feel free to check out Jen's social media, mine, or even Nicole's from that episode. And we would love to see any of you guys in person too.
sounds great.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Postpartum Plan podcast. I hope that today's episode brought you support, relatability, and valuable insight. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe and leave a review and share with any of your prenatal and postpartum friends and family. Your feedback helps us reach more parents seeking support. And if you're looking for additional resources, please feel free to connect via Instagram at Serene Moments Doula for constant information, tips, and tricks, or check out my website, www.serenemomentsdoula.com. See you next week.